so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So we're going to cover a lesson plan that Paige and I have made together. It's an Ocean Choose Your Own Adventure game mystery. And so a little bit about us. Well, I'm Nicole Lee, and I'm the co-founder of Elementary. Previously, I was a STEM teacher and an English teacher, and I did a lot of research on games and education and scientific inquiry and all that fun jazz while I was at MIT. And Paige is really the star here, so she's to go ahead and talk about her CV that's like this long.
So currently I am a K-5 elementary computer science teacher. I teach a course called digital technology. I'm also the gifted and talented teacher in elementary school, but I have taught anything from K all the way through 12, all computers. So big computer background. I did teach language arts and social studies. They called it humanities for a couple of years. And Nicole and I are very excited to bring this new research coding project to you.
Okay, so we're going to go through the lesson overview. Paige is going to talk about how she used the lesson in her class for fourth and fifth grade. Then we will go through the student experience of using elementary with this lesson, and then we'll go through one of the student project showcases.
So our fourth graders are studying the water and ocean life. So I approached Nicole and I said that we're really interested in getting a coding project that would go with their research that they're doing on aquatic animals. So Nicole wrote this lesson. She's got the objectives, the introduction, and then there's an organizer which will outline all of their research. So yeah, if you could open up the writing organizer. So Nicole and I brainstormed a list of, I believe it was 9 or 12 different sea creatures that they could choose from. It was 9. And Nicole put in some links for student safe websites that had the research to answer the questions that are in the organizer. So, for example, if somebody chose a sea turtle, there were 2 different links that they could go to, and all of their information was right there. So we didn't have to go to a different resource. So go back to the writing organizer. When I introduced the lesson to my students, I went through and explained to them that they had 7 pages. And in a few minutes, when you see the elementary platform, you'll see that it looks very similar to Google Slides or PowerPoint. So each page in elementary is similar. So you'll have one slide for each. So we started out with research for 2 sea creatures. So the first sea creature was one that was going to be missing. And then we had a second sea creature who needed help. So they had to do some research that took about 1 class period for them to decide what they were going to pick, and then to answer those questions and to get some fun facts about them. And then they went into their pre-planning stage, and that was step by step for each page in the project. So the first page, they have their title. The second page talks about how the mystery begins and what the person who's going to play their game. So we gamified it so that the students weren't just doing research and then writing a report or standing in front of the room and reading a report. I researched a sea turtle. This is what I found. So they made it into a game, and then the goal is for another classmate, or more than that if you have time, to actually play the game. So on page 2, they introduce what's going on and entice the player to want to play their game. So we'll explain more about the rest of them. There's a total of 7 when you actually see what they look like on the platform. So I guess bring up the one from your right, yeah, down there on the bottom. So
Okay.
so everything is all there as an outline. And then this is a sample that Nicole made. And then as I'm doing mine with my students, I also made my own sample. So this way I can go step by step with them. So as you could see, it shows you the first page, the text moved, and since the jellyfish is missing, when we clicked on the jellyfish, Nicole just did, it disappeared. And then what we do to make it gamified is that you have two choices. So we're hoping to incorporate some social emotional learning. So there's a kind choice and then there's an unkind choice. If they click on the kind choice, they will get points. If they click on the unkind choice, they don't get any points at the end. So Nicole, yeah, click on the kind choice just so we could see at the end what it looks like. So again, they needed to use the research to talk in here to show what they learned. So this particular one is about the blue tang. He's the one who needed help. So they give a little bit of information about blue tangs. And then they have another choice here. So there's two paths, and both of these paths for this purpose are going to lead to the last page, which is at the end of the game. And here it says that they saved the jellyfish and they found it, it's rescued, and you won 5 kindness points. So, and as you can see, there's backgrounds, there's different sea creatures. It's very colorful, it's very interactive.
Yeah, so mine is the very basic example, and the students do a much better job than my examples.
So yeah, this is one of the student examples. So she did a great job on this. So her turtle is missing, and she wrote a beautiful introduction. The water is warm and strange plastic water bottles are floating. The sea turtle is missing. And again, she goes on to explain about predators and what's going to happen to the sea turtle. As you can see, the sea turtle is glowing, so they want you to click on it, and then it disappears. Okay, next you see a jellyfish stuck in the net, and what are you going to do? Are you going to help the jellyfish or leave it? So if we help the jellyfish, that's the kind choice. So, and thanks to you, jellyfish are known to sting people, but the jellyfish does not sting you and it swims away. All right, and now do you want to swim through the coral reef or do you want to swim past the school of fish? And when you click on the fish, he says to go through the glowing coral reef. And you found the sea turtle behind the rock and you earned 9 friendship points. So they get to choose how many points they want you to get.
So that basically covers a little bit about what the end result will look like. And let's just go through really quick what it looks like from a student perspective. So as a student, I'm gonna go through this lesson as a student. So I'm gonna start a lesson for myself. I'm not gonna assign it. And in elementary, each lesson is broken up into milestones. So the first milestone is all about the pre-writing organizer and the research. I'm just going to go ahead and click next to go to the next milestone, so we can go ahead and get started. So you'll see that you'll have some visual cues on what to do, and the instructions are at the bottom, on the right side. So on the right side, you'll have, okay, in this milestone, we're going to write the title of the story. And for the coding, we're going to animate the title with a play text effect, and we're going to create a number variable. So the number variable is what's going to hold our friendship points in this case. So the first thing I have to do is I need to add a text box. So let's go ahead and add a text box. And when I do that, boom, it goes to the next step. So the next step is to write something in the text box. And you can do then I have some little helpful tips. And what is the title of your story? A mystery, the case of the missing blank. If they use the pre-writing organizer here, it matches exactly. So they could just copy and paste using Control C, Control V, and put whatever they've written already from their Google Doc into the slides here. In our case, we didn't do the pre-writing organizer, so I'm going to say the case of the missing, I don't know, fish. I click next and we can code on elementary now. So on elementary, there's two sides for every page. So the front side looks just like Google Slides. PowerPoint, you can design your page. You can go ahead and even like add some, some backgrounds if you want. Let's go ahead and find an ocean background. I don't know, this one's pretty. I like this one. So find some nice background pictures, design it how you like. The back side of the page is where you code. So you code by dragging blocks together. We're going to go ahead and drag the event block on page start. And then the play text effect. And quickly go through and grab my object since I want to animate my object, which is the text. So this uses what is called node-based visual programming. It looks like a flow chart. We'll follow the arrows, or the triangles in this case, to direct our code. So everything is color coded. You see white triangle goes to the white triangle, and the instructions will then say the purple circle on object block text box 0 is connected to the purple circle on the play text effect block.
I just want to add that as Nicole's dragging the lines from the arrow to the arrow and the circle to the circle, you'll see one of them gets very large, so the students will notice which one to connect it to, so there's no guesswork. It gets bigger and they know exactly where to go.
And then we also have a read to me feature as well. So if students are struggling with reading or maybe just need that extra help, you can just click on the read to me and just read the instructions. I'm going to go ahead and get a nice pop and boom, we animated our text. So I don't know if you have anything you want to add about how it's working in your class or anything else. I kind of just blazed through the lesson.
So my students were really engaged. So I have we're still in session. I'm in New Jersey, so we're in the Northeast, and we still have school for another 3 weeks. And my students have been working on this on and off during since the month of May. We did have some state testing, so it's been taking us a little bit longer. But Nicole has a timeline on there, and it's been pretty accurate to the timeline. They did 1 week for research. The following week they started coding, and then the third week they finished coding and started putting in backgrounds. And then for the fourth week, they're going to, we keep saying it, that they're going to play each other's games. So the students, being that it's the end of the school year, they're definitely engaged. It's keeping them on task, and they're definitely interested in what they're doing. So there's also, for the teacher, there's an assessment rubric. So I have my students, the early finishers. I say, I'm done, I'm done. And the first thing I say to them, well, do you have 3 facts of research? So that is in there, and Ashley will answer the question just 1 minute. And then also, so I have them go through the rubric, and then there's a peer review, so that when they play each other's games, they have a friend. They're not just playing, but they're also reviewing their partner's lessons. So Nicole, you want to show where,
Yeah,
right, how to
so
get.
you can access the lesson on Elementary. All the lessons are free on Elementary. And you just go to elementary.com, go to lessons, you'll see the list. I'll put it also in the chat. And for the most recent lessons, basically we are trying to have all of these lesson resources, all this pre-writing and scaffolding in it, because I feel like that's the way that we're getting good results from students is to provide these scaffolds. So the most recent ones all have these additional documents.
It definitely
And
made it a
yeah,
lot easier for the students to have the research done ahead of time. This way they knew exactly what they were putting in when they saw those directions on the right-hand side. They didn't have to scramble or think about what they were going to do next. It was already there in their organizer.
and then the last thing is before we go to any last questions and for Paige to just talk about whatever, is that we do have professional development this summer, July 21st to July 25th. There's going to be video recordings if you cannot make it. Um, I will send out, well, there's a link here, bit.ly/story code now, but I'll send it out in an email to all the people who signed up as well as the people who requested the video. And we will cover lots of fun stuff on elementary. So all the interactive story apps, games, even interactive maps. We have a lesson on that coming up. And the main thing is we'll have basically 20 different speakers. We have panel sessions that will cover everything from AI, digital citizenship, cultural responsive teaching. And yes, elementary is free. So you can use elementary for free. You can also use it without signing in. You could just go ahead and, let me sign out and you can just see what it looks like. You just go to lessons. And if you wanted to try something out, you could just start and then, do this quick little puzzle and then you can try it out without needing to sign up for anything. Um, if you want all the classroom features, then it is a free up to 35 student accounts. So that means having a classroom, having student accounts that don't need emails, that don't need, that you can just create and manage their work, being able to see their online status, all of those things. And then the last part of the PD is that we will be designing our own interactive coding and storytelling lesson, just like the one that you saw previously, but you can actually create your own on elementary with all the steps. And as a bonus, you can get a free upgrade for all your students for the entire school year. So that is available. I will send out details about that, but yeah.
Okay, so the upgrade, some of the pictures are premium pictures. So you can get, there's probably thousands, Nicole, of pictures that are
Yeah,
with
there's
the free.
thousands that are free, but I think it's now up to like 25,000 or something illustrations that we have now, or more. I don't even know, actually.
Yeah, the
Just add
best
a whole
part about
bunch.
the paid version, and Nicole will talk about how extremely reasonable it is in a minute. But the best part about it is that I can just load my students through Google Classroom and or Google School, and they don't need passwords or anything. They just click sign in with Google, and I can actually see their work as they're doing it. So that's, for me, is the best part.
Yeah, so for that's available for the free tier, it's just limited to 35 student accounts. The paid version is really if you want more than 35 student accounts. Um, And if you want all the assets, so all the pictures, and if you want to be able to upload your images, provide student feedback, get their analytics, then that's in the premium version. But like if you want to collaborate, that's also in the free. Um, yeah, it's pretty flexible for the free. And yeah, and after that, if you have over 150 students, we have a flat rate of basically one student is $2 per year.
So go back to the lesson page.
Yep.
Yeah. So this way we could see how many various lessons. So you could sort them by grade, you can sort them by subject, or you can just scroll through them. The newest ones are at the top and the oldest ones are at the bottom. And you could see that there's tons of different topics. And as Nicole mentioned, you can write your own lesson and have it go step by step as well.
Yeah, this one's a really fun one. Escape a Winter Maze. This one uses voice recognition. So if I say up, then my little gingerbread man goes up.
And this lesson is great if you're using the standard for accessibility. So if you follow the CSTA or ISTE standards or your own state standards, because the students, when they're playing it, they're not using a mouse or a keyboard or anything. Everything is goes by your voice. So it's a great lead into a lesson on accessibility. And they love this one. It's a lot of fun. I just hope that if you're interested again, think about joining us. There's going to be, as Nicole said, about 20 different guest speakers, different topics every day, and you'll learn how to use the platform, which is the best part.